Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
How's it going?
Great.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, this is like my downtime. And I'm happy that we can have wine because I see Hannah cook all the time. She has.
Don't give away my secret. That's my secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Relaxed. We like a relaxed cook. That's what we like.
Yes. Yep. Well, we're redoing our home office because I am leaving my paid office. Like I just do everything so via Zoom that it's just not working anymore. So my home office is kind of in transition. So I'm using like my little laptop and like, here you are, here's my kitchen.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like space. It's always like I'm wandering around. So I will actually be wandering around tonight. Same thing, but I'm excited everyone is here. So we have two Hannahs right now.
You sure do.
Oh, there we go.
Hannah 1 and Hannah 2. I just tried this for the first time. Let's see. I was gonna pin this. I wonder if I can pin both. I did this for the first time last night. I did 2 views and liked it. It like because there's a close-up view and then a talking view. So
that's great. Very clever.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it only took me like 6 months to figure out, but we're here, so.
Well, you got here, Hannah. That's the bottom line.
Thank you.
Yeah, better late than never. Yeah.
Yes, I want to put full screen. I want to see everyone. This is so fun.
So fun. So
yeah, no, thank you so much. We're excited.
Yeah, me too. Should we wait a few minutes to have some more people pop on?
Yeah.
We had 11 registered, and
I know Cindy texted me this morning asking if it was going to be recorded. Yeah, definitely give it a couple more minutes maybe. So Hannah, tell us while we're waiting, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about you and what it is you do.
Yeah, so I'm Hannah and I basically am a healer in the kitchen with the mind, body, and the soul. So I make these healthy gourmet meals that taste really good and then also bring really fun, lighthearted energy into the kitchen so that you can feel playful and laid back instead of rigid and restrictive and diet and all that stuff. So I myself have Crohn's disease. So I learned how to heal my own gut through diet. But I'm also a huge foodie. Like I went to culinary school in Italy, so I don't like to compromise flavor or feel restricted. So that is kind of the way that I cook and the way that I teach clients to cook and prepare meals and to just kind of live life in a more playful way while eating good food.
That's awesome. So when you talk about, my son had some digestive challenges, and I know how debilitating it can be. How did you get to a place where they were able to diagnose the Crohn's? And because I know for a lot of people, they recommend medication, but have you been able to manage it through a really healthy diet?
So I was diagnosed when I was 12, and
wow.
I wanted to only eat chicken fingers. So diet wasn't really in my scope at that point. And then when I was 19, after my freshman year of college, is actually when I had a really bad flare-up, and obviously the medications weren't enough and they were going to have to do surgery. So that is when you're on camera. That is when the discomfort warranted change for me. I didn't want surgery can get very complicated with the intestines. So that's when I did a pretty rigid whole foods diet. And through that really rebooted and healed. And then through that experience, learned how to reintegrate cookies and wine and still be able to, I haven't had a flare up in almost 10 years.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because
So,
what's life without cookies and wine? I always say. So,
like irrelevant, like, like
why
that
are we
means
here? Why are
you
we here if we
haven't-
can?
if you haven't yet, feel free to pour yourself a glass of wine, heat your oven. Yes, good, Michelle, nice. Oh, that will pair really well, I'm presuming, with our dish tonight. I'm not like a huge wine person, but I did work at Italy for a while.
Oh,
So I kind of like absorbed some wine knowledge there a
Okay.
little bit.
It is
So-
amazing though. Oh, sorry, Lisa, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
But like, I've done a couple workshops, I think in the last 6 months through like Tony Robbins and learning like different things about health and wellness, on top of, things that I've learned. But between like, so for me, I used to love eggs. I still love eggs, but I realized that my body wasn't processing them.
Mhm.
And it's something that you wouldn't think of until I stopped. And then this morning I was like, you know what? I'm like, I'm going to treat myself to breakfast, because I don't typically eat breakfast. And I was like, I'm going to have an egg. And literally within 45 minutes, I just couldn't do it. Like, I was like, nope, my body is just telling me. And it's not like eggs are bad for you, but I think it's so great. Like, as you get older, when you kind of play with different things, like what works for you, what doesn't work for you anymore. And so I'm super psyched to be here because
I love the keyword, Michelle, that you use is play, because it doesn't have, I mean, regardless of like allergies and like, life threatening, whatever, but it doesn't have to be this like rigid, serious thing. Like it can be something that you can play with and see like, oh, like I want to try eggs today. And oh, wait, no, I actually feel better without them. And that like empowerment realization is really nice to have.
Yeah.
So it looks like this might be it for now. So I'm cool to get chopping.
Yeah, let's get started, please.
Yeah.
I always like to get squash in the oven as soon as possible, because that's the thing that takes the longest to cook. So I'm going to show you the close-up screen here. So what I'm using is delicata squash. I love this squash mostly because you don't have to peel it, and two, it doesn't take that long to cook. So was everyone able to get delicata squash? Yeah.
No. I had to get butternut squash.
That's totally fine. So
I've already peeled it and chopped it.
You're amazing. So yeah, just keep pouring your wine. You're good. Okay. So for us delicata people, we're just going to chop off the ends like this and then cut it down the middle lengthwise. And it's also nice because it's a smaller squash, so your knife is less likely to get caught in it, because my knife often gets caught in squashes. It's never fun, like banging it, like everyone's like, be careful. And then, okay, so you cut it in half, and you just want to scoop out the seeds, and you can just use a spoon for this. So it's super easy.
So Hannah, I'm a huge butternut squash person, and so how does the taste differ from delicata?
Butternut squash is a little bit denser.
Okay.
Delicata, it's a little more delicate. If you
Okay.
will. And I'm trying to think, it doesn't taste that much different. I think it might be a little bit sweeter than butternut squash. I feel like butternut squash is more on the potato side. Eating it, it's a little more starchy.
I think
Okay.
that's accurate. There's not a lot of difference in flavor, Lisa. They didn't have any. So
Yeah, it's like delicata squash off, like I'd say 50% of the time I can see it in the store when I want it, and I get really happy when I do. So I just cut out the seeds like this. And the awesome thing about squash is that it lasts a long time in your pantry. So I bought this a couple weeks ago and it's still good. So I love that, because it's like things that you can keep on hand that you can grab and cook in like 25 minutes at the end of the day. Always a win. So after you scoop out the seeds, what we're going to do is cut it into little half moon shapes. So basically just like, I'd say about 1/4 inch thick, just like this. And then what you're going to do is put it on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper, just like that. And the reason I use parchment paper is amazing, And it really helps to crisp up squash and get it all caramelized in the best way possible without sticking to the pan. So it doesn't burn. You don't have to wash your pan that much, like properly. I usually just kind of give it a little wipe down afterwards because the parchment paper makes it for a really easy cleanup. Okay. Oh, and I like to cut it flesh side down just because that is a flatter surface area to work with, so that it's not like slip and sliding all over the place. Okay. So I have these, and I'm just dumping them onto my sheet tray. And it's funny, like it's kind of a relatively small squash, but it makes a lot. It'll fill the entire sheet tray. Okay. And also, I don't know if this is goes without saying, but this is a super casual class. So if anyone has any questions, just like unmute and shout them out. You don't need to raise your hand here. I'm too focused on my delicata squash to notice, so.
I love the two views. Now that you're like, I can see, I'm like, oh, okay, like,
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, and we just got our Alexa back and working, so I can play music on that, because beforehand I would play music on my phone, and so I couldn't have it streaming and playing music, so.
So Hannah, I know you have a class that you teach or like programs that you do. Is this how you do your like the programs? You have a group get together and you just show them how to cook different things?
Like more or less, yeah. But so I have an 8-week program, and it's called Cook Well. And so basically in that program, my group, we meet once a week on Tuesday nights usually, and we cook like this. And they also get recipes throughout the week to supplement. And the best thing about that is that it's the same group throughout the 8 weeks. So everyone, it's like talking about what dates everyone went on, and like daughters and husbands are popping in, like helping to zest limes and stuff like that. So I really enjoy that part of it. Okay. And so we're just gonna drizzle the squash with some olive oil. And if anyone feels like they need to measure, because I do have a couple of clients that really like to measure stuff, I'm not one of them, but it's a tablespoon of olive oil if you need to measure that. But the more you get cooking, I don't know if anyone's like a novice cook, it doesn't seem like you guys are, but the more you get cooking, the more you intuitively can kind of gauge how much salt, how much pepper, based on what you like.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, Deb, I can tell you're the same.
I love cooking. Love cooking. Yeah. But I have to say, last night I made a shepherd's pie, and this is one place where the guesstimation failed. It was delicious, but it was more about, it was like beef stew. I put in way too much liquid.
With my, like, for instance, with my cookies, I do measure because that's a bit more exact. So just so everyone can see, I just put some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and rosemary. And that's my squash formula. I've been cooking it that way since, I don't know, the past 11 years, and I haven't changed it yet. So I like it. And so I'm just gonna put this in the oven.
So Hannah, if you're using parchment paper, does it still caramelize? Because I usually do a butternut squash, olive oil, and brown sugar, and it caramelizes, and it is like candy. It's amazing. So does parchment paper do the same thing?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
so it's so good. It gets like a little crispy burnt too.
Okay,
Like,
I'll try that.
I don't use brown sugar, so I have done actually maple syrup though, and that's been really good. But yeah, we can watch as it goes. So I say in about 20 minutes, I'll probably give it a flip. If anyone feels like they need to set a timer, they can. I usually just can start to smell it. If it smells burnt, then I know that it's done. But usually you can smell it before then, and I just give it a little toss. And with roasting vegetables, it's so intuitive because like some people don't like it crispy. I do like it crispy, so you can kind of gauge based on your preferences. And fork tender is always a good rule of thumb, meaning like if you stab a fork, it's tender, and so it's easy to eat.
Can you cook something too much where you lose the vitamins and the nutrition from certain foods?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always worry about that because sometimes I feel like I overdo my vegetables and I'm like, did I just take all of the goodness out of it?
No, the goodness is still there. If anything, it would be like 4% less. So no, you're good. I actually, this is funny, my science fair experiment when I was like 16 was cooking broccoli in like 3 different methods, like steaming it and raw to test the vitamin C levels, and I'm pretty sure it was inconclusive. So
oh, good.
I've heard it.
Michelle, I think you're thinking of, the Irish background, at least in my family, where the grandma boiled the heck out of everything so that like there wasn't even taste left. Roasting, no problem. Boiling,
okay, good.
Story.
Oh, this is fun. I forgot that we were in a group of entrepreneurs. I'm just looking at everyone's title. Lynn, I could use one of you. We'll be in touch.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
What is that? I'm going to ask what everyone does as we drain your chickpeas if you haven't already. The garbanzo.
That was the one thing I didn't get was chickpeas.
You couldn't get it? That's okay.
I didn't get them either, Lynn. I don't like chickpeas.
I forgot them. I did all kinds of crazy substitutions, though.
So
I have like an impressive array of ingredients here to choose from. So
yeah, no worries. I was actually torn between giving you guys chickpeas as an ingredient or farro. I've been on such a farro kick recently for grain bowls or like to add on to salads.
I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. I've literally rediscovered it this season, and in my family too. We have been loving it. So, and Trader Joe's has like a 10-minute farro package. So next time, get that instead of the chickpeas.
I like the Seeds of Change packet of the brown rice and the quinoa. Have you ever tried that, Hannah?
The what?
It's called Seeds of Change.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a packet and it's got both quinoa and brown rice in it, and I think it's even got farro in it. But it's a it's a pouch. It's a pouch, and you can cook it up, because I love brown rice and I love quinoa, but man, sometimes I don't have 30 minutes to cook it, right? So that pouch is great, and like if you're making a grain bowl or something like that, honestly, they're really good.
Any shortcuts like that, I am such an advocate of. People like will come to me, they're like, am I allowed to buy like pre-cut squash? And I'm like, hell yeah, buy all the pre-cut squash. Like anything that is something that will make your life easier and get you nutrients like butternut squash that isn't takeout, I'd say is a win. So I'm all about, microwaved rice and anything. Honestly, I think it's good. And that's my
Michelle is ready for action now. She's got her
okay,
hair
Michelle, here we go. Chickpeas, a little bit of olive oil, just a drizzle. And then salt and pepper, always, just a pinch. And then, I don't remember what I told you to season it with, but I'm gonna use, I always change it up. I'm so like, I totally just like, I change every recipe every time I send it out. So I think I said curry powder though. So I'm gonna use some curry powder. Sometimes I'll do smoked paprika or chili powder, mostly to get the red color. I don't even think it tastes that different. The smoked paprika gives it a nice smokiness, but the reason I like the chickpeas in the salad roasted like this is because it almost acts as like a crouton with the crispy texture, but it's like a really healthy grain and a little bit of protein. So
that's a neat point, because I don't generally like chickpeas, but I haven't tried them roasted before, so maybe I'll have to give that a whirl next time.
Yeah. And Deb, I would do curry powder and smoked paprika.
Oh yeah, that would be delicious.
Yeah, because it has really nice warm flavor to it. So I have my chickpeas, and I'm just gonna put them in my oven with my butternut squash. And as we say in Italy, buonanotte. Forget about it. We have some chats in here. Okay. Lisa, what's your business?
I'm a professional organizer.
In
And
spaces,
say that
like-
one more time.
in like physical spaces?
Yeah, both. I do both. You know, so I just came literally today from a move. I'm doing a pack up, and it's so funny, Hannah, because one of the things that, you know, of course we have to do is the kitchen. And so we're talking about, like, you know, sort of the accoutrements of the kitchen. And one of the things that we were really clear about is, let's not take something you're not going to use, right? I mean, like, everybody gets like the, you know, the zester. I mean, you probably use a zester, but most people don't use their zester, you know, and it's like all these, like the bread machine. I'm like, if I have to donate one more bread machine, right? Because it's like sort of like fatty. And so I just love, like, just give me a good set of pans and a really good paring knife. I mean, that's really all I think, you know,
Cutting
I
board.
need.
I do actually like a zester, but like someone the other day in a class was showing me her, it was like an herb puller. Like,
That thing is the jam. I have one of those.
you have one?
You know
Okay.
why I have one?
I
Because
have space in my kitchen, mental space, really.
I love cilantro, and I love cilantro, but it's such a pain to de-stem it. And that thing is the bomb. So
You know
yeah,
why
I do.
I don't need it is because I'm usually pretty like rough. Like I'll like just like if stems get in there, I'm kind of like, oh, whatever. So
Yeah, I was like, why do you even worry about de-stemming? I just chop it and use the whole dang thing.
yeah.
You guys are real cooks, that's why. So that's what I do. I'm an organizer.
We're here.
Love that though, Lisa, because when I was registering, when we were getting married, I was like, there's an ice cream maker and there's a bread machine. And Kelly was like, when do we ever do like ice cream or bread? I was like, but I will. I was like, if I have the machine, I will do it. And then we wound up giving away our ice cream maker and our bread maker. But I was decluttering this weekend and I just kept thinking, I was like, Lisa would be so proud. I was like, I have, you know, more space, more time, and more joy. I was like, woohoo! I was like, it's so true.
Always proud.
Make the energetic way for more things to flow.
That's exactly right.
The thing for sure. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started on our sauces. So we're making two tonight. One is a vinaigrette. It's I almost call it my house vinaigrette because we make it for all of our holiday salads. It's basically equal parts maple syrup, balsamic vinegar, and olive oil with a little garlic. And this is so good on any holiday salad because it's like the maple sweetness. It would be good tossed with like Brussels sprouts or squash, anything like that. So it's a really nice staple to have. And then the second sauce that we're making is another staple in my house. It's a tahini yogurt sauce. And I love it dolloped on any grain bowl, any salad, with carrots, with cauliflower, roasted carrots. So you can't go wrong, dipped in veggies, whatever. So the first ingredient for each of the sauces is garlic. So each bowl or sauce has 1 clove of garlic chopped. So I'm just going to chop both of them now and then divide it into each of the bowls just so that I only have to chop the garlic once. If that makes sense. Garlic math, you know.
So Hannah, how do you feel about like pre-chopped? Like I like, because I'm not a cook, I get the jar of diced or.
Yeah, so Lisa, do you remember how I was talking about like all those shortcuts that are like so good for everything? I have one exception.
Oh,
It's
it's
with
garlic.
like half kidding, but not really. So garlic, I really can actually taste the distinct flavor difference between fresh chopped garlic and the jarred garlic. And so as you know, I'm a huge foodie, like first and foremost. So if something compromises the flavor, then I'm less inclined to use it. And so with the jarred garlic, I don't know, I taste something that I don't like. So
okay.
And you have to use twice the amount of jarred garlic to get the same flavor as a fresh garlic. You really do. And I'm going to say this is me being on my little social, soapbox. When I read where the jarred garlic comes from and what those workers go through and how what happens to their hands as they peel and chop all this garlic, I was like, I can't support this at all. I can't do it. That's not to say I haven't, you know, occasionally done it out of a complete like rush, whatever, but I really try now to just do fresh garlic. And I'm growing my own now. I'm growing my own now, which I have to tell you, this garlic is amazing.
Well, that's great.
I haven't done that, but also, Lisa, garlic presses would be good, or a zester, like a microplane zester. Zester could be a nice shortcut. So, so to chop my garlic, I just smashed it. I might have gone too fast. Just like stop me if I am. With the back of my knife, and then just chopped it like this, just like roughly as finely as I could. And so now I'm just going to divide it in half and put half in one bowl and then half in the other bowl.
Hannah, how much liquid are we talking? Like, how big does the bowl have to be, just so I can, just like a little,
yeah,
that's a big soup bowl.
No,
no, little bowl. Okay, because I have very little bowls, and I didn't know if they'd be too small, you know, like
medium bowl. Depends on how vigorously you're going to be whisking. I don't know.
I feel like I need to learn how to properly cut things, because like my daughter's at the age where she's trying to learn. I don't know, and I watch her, and I just sit there and like anxiety. I was like,
what I like. Okay, so this is the knife. Ready? And then they say to put this tip down on the board, and then move your backhand like this.
Okay.
Keep your front steady like that. That is
regardless of whatever you're cutting.
Yeah.
For the most part.
For like mincing or chopping. I mean, of course, if you're like slicing something, it would be more like this, but like,
yeah,
for like chopping, this is how you show off. Like that. I'm looking at it's weird.
Yeah.
You have to have a really sharp knife to get away with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's make the maple syrup dressing first. So put one bowl aside, take one bowl. And basically what we're going to do is add equal parts balsamic vinegar and maple syrup. So about a quarter of a cup. Our dishwasher is broken right now, so I'm actually just going to eyeball it so that I don't have to clean another measuring tool. But you can basically just like drizzle it in.
What if you don't have balsamic vinegar?
Who said that? You? Do you have white balsamic or apple cider vinegar or what?
I have apple cider.
Okay.
Use that. Okay.
Yeah. And maybe use a little less maple syrup to start. Or if you've already poured it, that's okay. It'll be an experiment. We like to play, as you know.
I don't always follow the rules sometimes. So.
Yeah. I love the trouble.
So I don't play by the rules either, Eileen.
I just, I measure it like a little bit in my hand and it goes.
Okay, you guys are my people. I love that. I only do measurements like to appease other people, but I'm just like, you just feel it. You just like,
yeah.
It tastes good.
I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, just drizzle. That's why I'm obsessed with this olive oil. Oh my God. I love this spout. I actually, during one of my classes, I broke this and it shattered everywhere and the olive oil spilt everywhere. It was so funny. But then I bought a replacement. And then you add some salt and pepper. And you can add a teaspoon of Dijon to emulsify it a little bit if you want. But you actually like don't have to even. You don't want to. You just give it a little whisk. And this is kind of like a smaller recipe for this dressing. It'll last us for tonight. But if you wanted to like double or triple this will last in your fridge for at least a month. I mean, it's oil based, so it's a nice like dressing to have for your salads throughout the week. I like to just give mine a taste and season accordingly.
I'm super sorry. Did you put olive oil in there? Sorry.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I just went to get more maple syrup. I have a sweet tooth, so. Yeah, I just drizzled in about equal parts olive oil, if not a little bit more.
Hannah, sometimes if I don't have maple syrup, which my mother's from Vermont, I always have real maple syrup, but what's like, I usually substitute honey or agave.
Yeah,
Is it,
honey or
is it-
agave. I always offer honey as a substitute when we use maple syrup because it does the same thing. It's another natural sugar, so
is it
I
a
like
straight
that.
1-to-1? Is it a straight 1-to-1? Like 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon?
For the dressing, I would say no. I
Oh.
would use less honey because it's a bit thicker.
Thicker, yeah.
In
Okay.
terms of texture, like maple syrup is very loose
Mhm.
and honey is thicker. For the next sauce that we'd make, I would say 1-to-1.
Okay.
But again, just like taste test as you go. Honestly, that's like
Yeah.
So good. I just tasted it. It's yummy. And if it's not, with a little pepper, if it's not yummy, it might need more salt. It might need more pepper. If it's too bitter, it might need more maple syrup. If it's a little dull, it might need more balsamic, more acid. And that's kind of how you can figure out based on your taste what it needs. If you're eyeballing like we all are. I do have the measurements, but eyeballing is more fun. Okay. And if anyone wants to like talk through theirs, if they taste it and they're like not sure if it needs X, Y, or Z, feel free to like talk it out. How's it taste, Michelle?
Very good. I'm more concerned about the fact that it seems as though I'm burning something in my oven, but I think
Michelle, that is the perfect opportunity to open your oven and check. Let's all do it.
I cleaned my oven over the weekend because something spilled, and I'm like, oh God. I was like,
Steam coming out. It's all good.
yes.
But let's check our squash and our chickpeas and let's give it a shake and a flip. So this is what my squash is looking like so far. Just gonna scoop this aside. Oh my God, it smells so good with the rosemary. And so I can see like the bottom edges are already kind of starting to brown a little bit. It's very tender, which is amazing. So like technically it could be done now, but I want to get all of it browned. So I'm just trying to flip it. And Lisa, I'll show you, like, you see how this one, like for example, is like pretty crispy. Let's see, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does get caramelized from the parchment paper.
I always think the trick when I'm roasting vegetables is being patient enough not to flip them too soon. Oh, I got an air fryer, so I'm obsessed with my air fryer. But
Oh, nice.
right, but I'm still like, I also use the big, yeah, that's nice. So the big cookie sheets, the big Pampered Chef, stone ones. But I always used to do tin foil, but now I know to use parchment paper instead. Because I do like them crisp. I don't like it soggy. It's a texture thing.
Yeah, so much better. Okay, so I'm just giving these a toss and throwing them back in. And the other trick that I like to do is like for the squash right now, I have it on my bottom oven rack because I know it'll get more charred on the bottom. So that's just like an easy way to kind of speed it up. And Deb, you're using butternut squash, so that will probably take a little bit longer to cook, which but
yeah, and I bumped up the temperature a little bit too to kind of move things along.
Next with my group, we're making a butternut squash pizza, which I'm really excited about.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
Whipped ricotta, goat cheese, and
oh my God,
That sounds amazing. I did
that sounds
butternut squash
amazing
soup yesterday. I was the only one in my family who wants to eat it, but I'm like, I love butternut squash soup.
I love butternut squash soup.
And I love goat cheese.
It's so soothing to the soul, I think.
Yeah. One of my favorite soups when I was in Ireland was a butternut squash, pear, apple, and they brewed their own cider there, and they had used that in the soup. It was amazing. It was
Did you live in Ireland or just visit?
No, I was just visiting. No,
Okay.
But that's my ethnicity, the background. So I love it.
Yeah, me too. I've only been once, and oh my God, I loved it.
So good.
Their food scene was so underratedly profound. I thought it was phenomenal, and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. They've had a bit of a food revolution too in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So the food, I was very happy because, again, grew up with an Irish grandmother who boiled everything. It was awful.
That's so funny. Okay, did everyone give their oven things a little love, a little turn? Anyone have any questions? Good to move on. Okay, so now we're gonna make our final sauce. This is, again, so easy. And all these things, you can make it, prep it, have it in your fridge for a week, and you're good to go. That's kind of like how I don't cook every night. I mean, like I need to have some break. So this is good for me. So to our other bowl that has the already chopped clove of garlic, we are gonna juice 1 lemon and squeeze it into there. And this is gonna be for our tahini yogurt sauce.
I have a question for you because I thought I had tahini, and so I did buy it. So now I don't have tahini. What would be the other option potentially that I could do? Because I've got yogurt and I've got lemon. I've got sesame oil, but I don't have sesame paste.
So the closest thing to sesame paste would almost be peanut butter, but I'm just like debating how that tastes, and I don't think I like it.
Yeah, that would be very different, I think. I've got almond butter, but that would be
that could be cool. Okay, I would probably suggest these are your 3 options. 1, omit it and it will still be delicious. 2, try it with almond butter and we can see. I've never made it. And then 3, do it with just yogurt and add a little bit more maple syrup for like the sweetness and the texture. And again, we can see.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, those would be the 3 options that I would think of. Tahini is such a distinct flavor. It's like, it's literally ground up sesames. It's very common in Middle Eastern cuisine as a flavoring. I've even had like tahini cookies before. Okay.
I tried to make my own hummus once with that, and I'm like, no.
No, you didn't like it?
Well, it's my fault. Like I just, yeah.
No, I'm gonna say it's the recipe's fault because I'm sure you probably followed it and then it came out weird or something. It was probably their fault.
Part of it is I don't listen to like use, half a cup or a teaspoon. I just kind of throw things together. So could very well have been my fault.
But as you go, you'll train the muscle, so then you can discern, even if you do mess up. Okay, so we have our lemon juice and our garlic, and to that we're gonna add the tahini. So the tahini is like comes in that liquid form. Just give it a little stir, and I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of equal parts tahini and Greek yogurt, and it's about 3 tablespoons of each, or 3 big spoonfuls. I'm happy I'm talking amongst non-measurers because it's refreshing. Okay. So 3 tablespoons of the tahini, and tahini itself is quite bitter, which is why we have the maple syrup in this sauce to really counteract that. Okay, so tahini, and then we have our Greek yogurt, just plain Greek yogurt. And I've had people before come onto class and they don't have plain Greek yogurt and they only have vanilla yogurt, which is totally fine. You just don't add the maple syrup, and the vanilla acts as the sweetener in the sauce. Okay. So add the Greek yogurt. I love using up what you have in your fridge. So if you only have vanilla yogurt, let's use it. And then maple syrup, again, to counteract the tanginess from the Greek yogurt and the bitterness from the tahini. So about 2 tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons.
Yummy.
And then for seasonings, we are going to do cumin. Again, it's very common with Middle Eastern flavors, cuisine, about a half a teaspoon. And then curry powder, which adds a really nice warm heat. Warm, sweet heat is almost how I would describe it. Okay. And then a pinch of salt and pepper.
Always.
Yes, who said that? I love you. You're hired now. But actually.
I'm listening.
Yeah. No, Lynn, I actually am looking for a virtual assistant. So
Awesome. We will talk.
okay. So just give that a nice whisk. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I think I need to get better lighting. That'll be my next
Smells
task.
really good.
Figure out better lighting here, but it's so pretty. And so mine's a tiny bit thick. I mean, it's fine, but it's a little thick. So I'm actually just going to add a little bit of water to this, just a tablespoon or two of warm water. And that just helps make it a little bit more, I'm going to make up a word, drizzable. What my VA, what's the right word that I'm trying to say? I don't know. I make up words a lot, so.
I don't know.
I like drizzable. That's a good word.
Drizzable? Okay, yeah. We'll go.
Yeah,
with that.
I'm the wordsmith and I actually can't think of a different one either. So
Okay, thank you guys. I love the support. Okay, so now it's a little bit more drizzable. But now I'm gonna taste it just to make sure. Oh my God, I love this sauce. Have you guys tasted it yet? I'm curious to see what you think.
the
Do you
almond
use
butter
that-
works. Sorry.
Yes.
Good. That's good. Do you use that sauce for anything else?
Yeah, I use it like on anything. I use it with grain bowls, with roasted carrots, with cauliflower, on salads. The other night I had like a tiny bit leftover. I squeezed some lemon and some olive oil and used it as a salad dressing with like tomatoes and like avocado or something. So yeah, I do. Okay.
Hey, my squash was just done, so everybody check your squash.
Okay.
Mine was
Let's
starting to get
all
like
check the squash. This is great time. We're done with our sauces.
So Lisa, did you have a long day?
So I could keep this going a little bit longer, but it's definitely tender. It definitely doesn't need it. So I'm just gonna take it out just because, it's almost 8 o'clock. So we gotta eat. But again, it's the time is flexible that it cooks.
Yeah, Lynn, thank you for asking. I did. Moves tend to take a long time, so I'm following along on this recipe.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of cooking. Feels like I've got my hummus here and my fresh veggies for my this is all I could handle for dinner tonight. But this looks amazing. So I have salad envy right now. So I can't wait to make this recipe.
Yeah, you have the recipe forever, and it's timeless. It's a salad. So
well, I love these dressings too, and I'm thinking I'm going to use the dark dressing. I made some extra of that so that I can use it on salmon that I bought. That's in my fridge, and I'm going to make salmon tomorrow night with this glaze on it. That'll be nice.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with you just because you just said that. Yeah, no, that's exactly that's how I marinate my salmon anyway. So, yeah, brilliant. And a little Dijon too. I had in the recipe, but I just didn't feel like adding it tonight. So that's where we are. So did everyone take out their squash and their chickpeas? Does anyone need a veggie check or anything? Okay, we're good. So I'll just show you how to assemble it. So, and again, if you were making farro, You can make farro, stir in some spinach or some kale, stir in your veggies and chickpeas and add your sauces. That would be amazing too. But we are going to do a salad tonight. We're just healthy and amazing. So I'm using arugula because I love arugula. I think it has a lot of flavor in terms of like lettuces. So I like to add a big base to my salad bowl. And then I like to add a little bit of our brown dressing, as Lynn would say, to the arugula and just give it like a base coat. And toss it like this. Okay, so we have that. Yeah, I definitely need to work on my lighting here. And then, but we're not perfectionists, right? We're just taking messy action. And then I like to add my avocado. So I'm just using a ripe avocado that I happen to have. If you don't have it, like no worries at all. It's just an added textural bonus here. So I cut mine in half, and then with my knife, I just like slice it like this. And again, I'm sure you guys all know this, but just in case anyone wants to see, like that. And then I just take a spoon and scoop it out. And it just comes out really easily. Kind of squeeze the skin as you do it. Just like that. Okay, take out the other piece. Anyone else want to share about their business while we're all listening, while I'm listening? Because I'm new to you guys.
Lynn, do you want to share about how you do virtual assisting, given that Hannah is looking for one?
Yeah, so today I had some big adventures with one of my clients. I'm setting up a MailChimp account for them so that they can start to email and do some email campaigns with a lot of people. So the first step that we had to do was to identify their mailing list. So they gave me access into their Google accounts, gave me the wrong password, not once, not twice, but 3 times, which was hilarious by the time we got to the third one. And I was like, okay, dude, this just doesn't work. I don't know what's going wrong here, but can you check again? Oh yeah, that second word has a capital letter. Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Okay. So yeah, it was pretty funny. But you know, I mean, these people are in Michigan, and you know, they're just delightful people. And between the two of them, they had 2,000 contacts.
Wow.
To send this email out to. But she had to admit that actually this first email is just going out from their personal emails to this list, because she admitted that some of these are 20 years old and she doesn't even know if those people are still alive. And I'm like, we'll find out. Okay. So we're going to cull the contact
That
list.
may be a deciding factor in the engagement. I'm guessing here.
But we'll clean up their email list, and then we clean up their contacts, and then they'll be in a much better place, and set them up and get them going. So
awesome.
It's a lot of fun. I do a lot of different things for different people, you know, social media posts for, you know, a magician in New Hampshire, which is always a blast. And my joke about him is that he disappears for like a month and then suddenly reappears like magic. And it's just like, can you make 10, you know, social media posts for me? And I'm like, sure, yeah, no problem. And
wow.
I did research for a henna artist the other night for 2 hours, looked up companies that have diversity programs, tech companies that have diversity programs, because she's thinking she's going to be able to target them with Diwali coming up. She wants to target them and see, are they doing a Diwali celebration, and do they want a henna artist to come in and henna some people in the office, which I think is a great idea. So
yeah, that's awesome.
That was interesting.
I always love hearing about what everyone does. I think it's so fascinating. There's so many different avenues.
There's something different every day, which I love about this job. I really love it. Yeah, you must have that too, Lisa. I mean, you know, going from one client to the next, it's not all the same.
Well, and I think it's the variety, Lynn, and I think it's, you know, it kind of speaks to what we're talking about tonight, which is, you know, we get into the, you know, you said it, Anna, when you're 12, all you want to eat is chicken nuggets, right? And I think so, I think we heal our bodies by bringing in all kinds of various nutrients. You know, when people, you know, sometimes when the kids are little, it's like they only eat things that are white, or they only eat things that are yellow or whatever. And it's like, I never ate Brussels sprouts until recently, and now I am addicted to Brussels sprouts, right? And I never ate squash. You know, there were certain things I never ate as a kid, and I'm like, it's like, yay me, like there's such good stuff out there. And I just, so thank you for doing this, because I think, you know, something like this is so approachable, and it's like there's a lot of ingredients, but they're kind of, you know, they all go well together. And I love the substitution thing, right? I love that. Oh, you don't have this.
A lot of these ingredients, just so everyone knows, I'm adding cheese to my salad, goat cheese. All of these ingredients, not all of them, but most of them I have in my pantry or in my fridge at all times. So like it's a lot of ingredients listed out, but it's like, it's what I have in my fridge. So that's how I cook. But it's also like, what do you have in your fridge? And like, let's cook something from that, you know, like it's just not meant to be this like extravagant thing. It's just meant to be, I'm an optimizer. So I like to optimize flavor and health in the dish. So
I think people like easy now, like, or fast or quick. I know for me with my kids in the sports, and it's like, you know, my son was walking in at 7 as we were getting, you know, on the call from football that he has every single day except for Monday. It's just, it's like, okay, what can I prep that will actually stay?
yes.
And like, so I like to do a lot of prep on Sunday, but like some things I'm like, well, it's going to be bad by the time, you know, Wednesday comes or we start to look at it. So I love like healthy and trying to get them to eat more vegetables and that kind of stuff.
And like the thing is, I like to make it so that it's like for instance, I made this dish the other night when I was visiting my family, and they were like, my dad was like, oh my God, if all meals tasted like this, like I could really do the healthy thing. And I was like, yeah, like you could, you know, because like
they can taste like this.
It does, yeah. So I just added squash, I added all the squash and all the chickpeas, because this is my meal tonight. Like I don't have chicken or anything. Like this is it. So I'm adding it all. I'm adding all the cheese. Might add more cheese. If you have, I'm using goat cheese, but like feta would be amazing here. Parmesan would be good. Anything like that. And then
Hannah, is there any downside? So let's say I add all my squash, all my chickpeas. Is there any downside to just putting in the fridge? And letting it sit there for a couple days? Should I keep it separate if I know I'm going to eat all of it?
With the lettuce. So the lettuce will get a little soggy because it's stressed.
Yeah.
Chickpeas will be perfect on their own. So
Oh my God.
You could keep those. I know it's yummy, right? You could keep the squash and chickpeas separate, and those would hold their integrity a little bit more versus the lettuce will a little bit if it's dressed.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I'm gonna get a plate. And just show you how to plate this. So I typically dress the lettuce and top it with the toppings, and then when I serve it, I'll do a big dollop of the tahini sauce. That's kind of how I do it. Okay. So like that. It's just such a pretty fall dish, and you could add so many different variations onto this, like roasted Brussels sprouts, Lisa's new favorite, or like glazed pecans. Those look good. Yes, those look good. Or like craisins, or walnuts. I even might have had that in the recipe. Again, I can't remember, but that would be.
I love it because you hear salad and you think like it's kind of like it's little, but like this is a meal, and then you could top it with like shrimp or chicken or some sort of other protein, and there you go.
Yeah,
and we're gonna do chicken on it because like I said, I didn't like the chickpeas, so I'm like, oh, what's with the protein? And my husband likes the chicken, so yeah, it works.
Yeah, and like you said, if you wanted to keep the components separate and like mix and match throughout the week, you could do that. I have this like base salad here, and then I'm gonna add a nice drizzle of the tahini sauce. Oh yeah, that looks really good.
I wish mine looked like that, but
Do you want me to help? Do you want me to virtually help you?
no. I'm gonna separate some of mine because I'm like, I have enough for me, but I'm like, I want to have some for tomorrow. So I'm gonna keep my chickpeas separate, my squash separate, and then put them together.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea too.
But I want to do your so it's an 8-week program that you teach people how to cook different things.
Yeah. Not only do I teach, it's this whole like energetic healing shit that we do. So I actually just dropped that link there. Perfect timing. So that's my 8-week program, the Cook Well. I'm launching my next one in January just because I feel like the holidays are so like hectic anyways, that like January is a really nice time to like get our cleanse on, our yummy cleanse on. So that one will begin in January, and my baseline price is $1,200 for the 8 weeks, but for you guys, I added a $200 discount. So that'll be good for the next week. And that's that link right there. So you can reserve your spot or just put your name and email in, and we can chat if you have any questions. And then the other thing, in case anyone is like ready to like dive into the deep end, I am also launching a mastermind in January. So it's classes like this, but it's a 5-month program, and it ends with a culinary wellness retreat in Italy. So yeah, not like the worst thing in the world. So that's actually not even on my website. It's just people that a little like sketchy PDF that I can send you. I know, right? Like this is how I'm doing business.
Oh my gosh.
I have 2 spots taken already, and so I have 6 more available. I'm keeping it intimate, and that one will focus a lot on the integration and implementation of this kind of like playful energy that we bring to the kitchen and our diets, but also like to our business and our marketing and like our relationships and, you know, whatever you need playfulness with. So yeah, that's my website. That you guys, I think, have my contact info. So I'd love to hear from you. Just like if you want to chat about any of those, I'm super open. And in the meantime, please like plate up a really gorgeous meal and post it on social media, tag me. I want to see what you guys make.
I do have a question, Hannah. Yeah. I do have a question. So we made the 2 sauces, and we dressed the salad initially with the tahini sauce. Okay. What the dressing?
So Deb, you messed up, is what you're saying.
I messed up. I did. Okay.
So how I do it is I dress it with the dark dressing, the maple syrup dressing, and then I drizzle it with the tahini. But it's okay. You can just
do it backwards.
You're not alone. I did that too.
Did that too? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's my fault because I obviously didn't communicate it clearly enough. So my fault.
I just don't know what tahini is. I just don't know the difference.
Let me see if I can show you.
Okay, yeah, this is what you do. Close your eyes, take a spoonful of each, dump it, and then toss it. That's what you do.
That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen.
Lynn, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow, look at you.
And you can see the tahini sauce right on top there. So I made the mistake too.
Wow, I love it. Oh my God, you guys, this was so much fun. I love this group so much. So
I've enjoyed having you all in my kitchen tonight.
I know. I had to kick my kids out, which was nice. I'm like, get out.
Yeah, kick everyone out. This is your time. Unite. Yeah. So does anyone have any like other like lingering questions? You can definitely always like reach out to me. But
I have one quick question. So. Do you have a secret to keeping avocados once you slice them? I've seen a couple things like where you put half of it in water. I've tried that. It's kind of
no, I don't like complicated things. So I use this thing called saran wrap, and I wrap it and then I put it in my fridge. Okay. And then sometimes it goes bad and then I throw it away.
Okay.
But
yeah, I just put it in a container.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it usually lasts like a day. I mean, then you peel off the top anyway.
And
Like
then,
the brown
yeah,
is
you
gonna.
scrape off the like brown parts with your knife, and yeah.
Yeah, avocado doesn't last that long. It's just one of those things. Have you seen the meme, right? Where it's not ready, not ready, not ready, too late.
Yes.
Like that's avocado for you, right? You know, like that's it.
That's so true, Deb. Yeah, I love that.
That's
Well,
awesome.
you guys, thank you so much for having me in your kitchen tonight. This was so much fun. I hope you guys learned a little nugget of anything, or just like had fun watching. And again, reach out anytime, and I hope to cook with you soon.
Thank you, Hannah. So we're going to get this recording up on our YouTube page. We'll share the link on our social media.
Yeah.
And so that'll give you, obviously, people can watch it at their leisure. And thank you. Thank you for doing this. I think, you know, one of the things we talk about at the network is, you know, we love our members to have a full life, and eating well and being healthy is obviously part of that. It's not just about our businesses, obviously. So thank you. Krista, thank you for joining us. Eileen, thank you again for today. Deb and Michelle, thank you for doing all of this. And Lynn, thank you as always.